So I've just got back from Afghanistan for my third trip there on behalf of Afia. I have to say thank you to the Afghan government because they've been incredibly receptive, largely because so many of them were our clients in Guantanamo Bay, so they truly understand the world. One thing that we've learned is the United States just lied about what happened to both Afia and her children. So I've lined up witnesses who know where Mariam, the 3-year-old child, was when she was forcibly adopted into a Christian family, an American Christian family, on the principle that it's better to be an American Christian than some Pakistani Muslim. 7 years that little girl suffered there. Then we've got evidence too of Ahmed, the 6-year-old, who was actually an American citizen too, as well as a Pakistani. The American government took him and put him in a prison in Kabul at age 6 and told him that henceforth his name is Ihsan Ali, and if he ever says he's Ahmed and he's Afia's son, they'll kill him. Well, we've got evidence of that. Most important, perhaps, I've lined up 8 witnesses so far, but more coming, who saw Afia in the torture prisons. The US, the CIA has lied about that for 20 years now, but we now have evidence that it's true. I also went to Ghazni, which is where the whole crime happened, where Afia got 86 years in prison. Well, I've got the witnesses who saw what really happened, and far from being what the US presented at trial, what was really going on was actually the ISI had a plot to kill Afia. And the reason they wanted to do that was because Fawzia, bless her, had done so much work to make Afia a household name in Pakistan. The very people who had abducted her in the first place, the henchmen of President Musharraf, were still in power in 2008. So they wanted her killed. So what they did was they put Afia on a bus with her son Ahmed, although the two of them weren't sure who each other were. But on that bus was a Pakistani spy who had a bag of material that he was going to plant on her. And then the Pakistanis were going to call in a suicide tip. They had Ahmed dressed in a coat in the middle of July with 4 big bits of fruit at the front, made him look like a suicide bomber. Their plan was to call in that this was a suicide bomber outside the Khalid bin Walid Mosque, and then the Afghan National Police would come and shoot her. The only reason that didn't happen was because of this wonderful person, Mohammed Ajmal Mohammadi, who I found in Ghazni, who spoke Urdu and was able to communicate to Afia, and he stood between the 50 men with their AK-47s and Afia and her son, and just stopped it. And that's why she wasn't killed on the spot. And the Pakistan plot was to have her killed and then say that she was a suicide bomber and plant this stuff on her that made it look like she had a plot going on. Instead, they end up taking her to the Afghan police headquarters, which is where the US government ended up confecting this totally bogus crime that she supposedly tried to kill 2 American soldiers. Total nonsense. That's not what happened. What really happened, we can now show, is she was behind a curtain. The Americans come in the room, she hears American voices, she thinks, oh my goodness, I'm going to be taken for more torture. She peeks through the curtain. One of them says, oh my goodness, she's on the loose, and shoots her. And then they made up this lie to try to cover the fact that they'd just shot an unarmed woman. And this is where we are. Now we're going to have to go, I'm going to New York this afternoon because we have to bring this all before the court that sentenced her to 86 years and show what really happened. And I've gone through the judge's whole sentencing, annotating it with the truth. It's up to about 28,000 words so far, and there's more to come. And so all of these witnesses, I hope, is going to convince Judge Berman that a great injustice was visited on Afia. And yeah, I think there is still some compassion out there. I sincerely hope there is, and that we'll get Afia released towards the end of this year. That's the plan.